Tonight, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike gives 48-hour ultimatum to authorities to find those who invaded the home of Supreme Court Justice Mary Odili. Less than a week to the Anambra governorship election, political parties heat up campaigns to woo voters. Your home for the news channel's television wins the National Media Merit Awards for Television Station of the Year for the 14th time. Another foreign scene, UN Climate Change Conference opens in Glasgow, Scotland. Profound gaps remain between pledges and reality for curbing global warming. We begin tonight with the ultimatum given by the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, who this evening announced that the authorities had been given 48 hours to get to the root and identify those who secured the warrant and allegedly invaded the home of Supreme Court Justice Mary Odili over the weekend in Abuja. Flanked by leading political actors from Rivers State, Governor Wike, speaking in Abuja, says since the Attorney General had distanced himself from the matter, it was important to know who was involved.
We are taking steps as a government and people of the state to see that this matter is concluded and find out who are those who are the perpetrators. Because I would think that it's an attempt to assassinate Justice Mary Odili and the husband and the members of the family. That is because there's no two ways about it. And if they have succeeded, all the federal government would have told us we'll get to the bottom, to the root of the matter. Because that has always been the normal language. The issue here has nothing to do with the Attorney General. We're happy. He said he's not aware. And it's okay. Since you are not aware, we are giving for the hour to tell us who are responsible or who is responsible. It's just not enough to say EFCC said we don't know anything about that. It's not just enough to say DSS say we don't know anything about that. No, it's not enough. Which group went to the magistrates to get an order? And they said is asset recovery panel in the Ministry of Justice. And Attorney General has come to say there's no such section or panel in the Ministry of Justice. So, no problem. So, but they have involved the Ministry of Justice. So that's why it's okay. You must find out. Mere denial is not enough. You must take concrete. So I was saying 48 hours is enough for any serious government to come up with, say, look, we have known those who did this. And this is the action we are trying to take. So we are telling the world to know, if anything happens to the family of Dr. Peter Odili, the federal government should be held accountable because they have shown that there's something they are about carrying out. If anything happens to my Lord, Justice Mary Odili, the husband and his children, the federal government should be held responsible. And that is the position of the Rivers State government and the Rivers people.
The national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has met with President Muhammadu Buhari today to appreciate him for visiting him in London after knee surgery. During an interview after the coastal meeting, he stated that the visit had nothing to do with politics, noted that the president demonstrated empathy like a true and exceptional leader would. But do remember, the national leader, who returned to the country from his medical vacation on October 9th, had also visited the Vice President on Friday, as State House correspondent Gloria Omezuke reports.
Since his return to the country after a medical vacation, national leader of the All Progressives Congress meets with the president at his residence. In an interview after the closed-door meeting, he stated that the visit is not politically motivated, noting that the president demonstrated empathy like a true and exceptional leader would.
Only to thank, first of all, the president for his visit to my residence in London when I was, after the surgery, and wishing me well, lifting my spirits, and did what an exceptional leader would do to a collaboration. That's all. That's what I came for. I'm welcoming him back from the trip from Saudi.
It would be recalled that the national leader who returned to the country from his medical vacation on October 9 also paid the vice president a visit on Friday. Separately, the president met behind closed doors with the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, at his residence. In a media chat, the Naval Staff is confident that recent efforts of the president will advance the successes made in the Nigerian maritime space.
Well, I'm here to seek the blessing of Mr. President for him to honor the Nigerian Navy in commissioning the indigenously built Civil Defense Boat 3, because it prides us as a nation that we can build something from the scratch to finish by our own shipyard.
After that visit, the president departed for Glasgow, Scotland, to attend the 26th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Now, earlier in an opinion article, the president indicated that the climate crisis will not be fixed by causing an energy crisis in Africa, underpinning that even though greenhouse gas emission is a serious problem, decisions on checking it must not be drastic. He equally called for the lifting of the prohibition placed on fossil fuel in Africa. He's also expected to illuminate key priorities and actions of the country on climate change when he delivers his national statement on Tuesday, November 2. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
To party politics, former president of the Senate, Senator Iyorchia Ayu, has been elected as the national chairman of the Nigerian opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. Senator Ayu was one of the 19 contestants who emerged through a consensus from among 28 candidates who contested for the vacancies in the party's National Working Committee. The PDP Convention Organizing Committee had worked to have consensus candidates for all 21 positions, but failed to get the buy-in of 3 contestants into the offices of the National Youth Leader, the Deputy National Chairman South, and the Deputy National Chairman North.
It's midnight, but voting continues at the Eagle Square, venue of the 2021 National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to elect principal officers of the party. Voting ends after 7 hours, and the ballots are sorted and counted.
83, 84.
The chairman of the PDP Convention Organizing Committee then announces the results.
Very importantly and very significant is for me to have the privilege as the chief returning officer of the 2021 PDP Convention election to announce and declare His Excellency Senator Dr. Iyorchia Ayu as duly elected and returned as the national chairman .
Declared 28 candidates to contest for the 21 vacancies, and 19 candidates emerged as consensus candidates. Of the 3 offices where consensus were not reached, Mr. Mohammed Suleiman defeated Usman El-Kudan to emerge as the national youth leader. Mr. Umar Damagun also defeated in Nachiroma to emerge as deputy national chairman North, while Ambassador Taufik Arapaja defeated Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola to emerge as the party's deputy national chairman South. The PDP lost power at the central government in 2015, and the new leadership is optimistic that the successful conduct of the convention puts the party on a path to victory in 2023.
PDP is back. And is back to rescue Nigeria from the terrible mess we have been in the last 6 years. Those Nigerians who have lost hope should today know that Nigeria is not a divided country. PDP will come back, unite our people, put them together, north and south, east and west. We will move ahead to develop this country. We did it before, we are going to do it again.
This convention is hereby adjourned sine die.
As it is, all 21 vacancies in the PDP National Working Committee have been filled, but the newly elected executive officers would have to wait till the end of the year when the tenure of the incumbent NWC is expected to end.
In the meantime, the governorship ambition of Senator Andrew by the candidates of the All Progressives Congress might have received a boost, with support coming from one of his major opponents during the party's primaries. By way of reconciliation, Mr. Azuka Okwosa has collapsed his campaign structure and declared total support for the APC flag bearer. The former member of the All Progressives Grand Alliance was revived along with his supporters as the APC extended its campaign to Ikusigo and Newi North local government areas.
Members of Azuka Okwosa support group converged on his home as they host Senator Andy Uba's campaign team led by his running mate Emeka Okafor. Mr. Okwosa, a key figure in the party, had lost to Senator Uba at the primaries and had now decided to put the party's interests first while officially backing the candidature of the flag bearer.
I'm an authentic party man. I believe in the supremacy of the party. The party has taken a position holistically, and we are duty bound to abide by that party interest. And the most important thing, I know that when we work collectively, we win collectively.
From Mr. Okwosa's home, the APC continued its rally at Orefite Civic Center and then to Newi North.
The wave of change is finally in Anambra State. The people of Anambra State have finally embraced APC as the only alternative for infrastructural development.
And here's what the APC deputy governorship candidate had to say about the party's mission.
We need to move our people to the center. Our people from our local government are tired of this local state, one-party state in the state. They need to get the benefits of democracy, which other people from other parts of the Federation are sharing at the center. That is one. And there has to be a total reconstruction of the state.
Some of the party chieftains at the rally also explained why Senator Andy Uba is the best person to restore and reposition Anambra State.
So he's a good team player. He has played with me, and I feel that if he's given an opportunity to become a governor, we'll work together and we'll develop the state. I'm not biased. That come November 6th, Andy Uba will convincingly, I use the word convincingly, win the government election in Anambra State.
As the All Progressives Congress rounds up its local government rallies, it believes the support it has received will be reflected during the November 6th governorship election.
In part 2, after the break, we'll have more from Anambra Plus. NDLEA intercepts cocaine, heroin and cannabis at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, headed to foreign destinations. We'll join us again. Welcome back. If it has joined us, you're watching Channels Television coming to you live from Lagos. You're watching the news at 10. Here are the stories making our headlines this hour. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike gives 48-hour ultimatum to the authorities to find those who invaded the home of Supreme Court Justice Mary Odili. Less than a week to the Anambra governorship election, political parties heat up campaigns to woo voters. Your home for the news channel's television wins the Nigerian Media Merit Awards for Television Station of the Year for the 14th time. Another foreign scene, UN Climate Change Conference opens in Glasgow, Scotland. Profound gaps remain between pledges and reality for curbing global warming. Ahead of Saturday's governorship election in Anambra State, political parties have been trying to outdo each other to win attention of voters. The People's Redemption Party's governorship candidate says it is the turn of Anambra North to produce the next governor, while his counterpart from Accord Party says he is the best candidate for the position.
These are supporters of the People's Redemption Party in Umweri in Anambra East local government area of Anambra State. The party is here to canvass support ahead of the governorship election, which is just days away. The governorship candidate of the party is confident of victory come Saturday, November the 6th.
This is our turn again to take second time because South have taken before, Central have taken before. They have taken two. It's we not to take another one so that where will it stop work, we'll continue from there.
The leadership of the party says it will change the face of governance if elected.
I, the deputy, most people watching this now will know that I'm a public figure. I'm a Nollywood artist. I feel the pains of my people. The violence you see going on in the society is because of the wrong people that are in the government.
Elsewhere, during a media briefing, the candidate of Accord Party lists his manifestos to include infrastructure development, improved social welfare, and general performance-based governance.
I have more understanding what I had to do to reach my people.
He appeals to electorates to come out and vote.
I'm telling the Anambra, come rain, come shine, produce your brother and your son to be the next governor of Anambra State. The governor you will be proud to have, that you can talk to people and say, that's my governor. This is what he has done. This is what he's going to do. That's why they call me Mr. Evident.
With just days to the election and campaigns in top gear, these parties and their supporters are asking for improved security so that everyone can exercise their franchise.
Staying with the upcoming governorship election in Anambra State, there is absolute need for a balance to be found between ensuring adequate security and providing for voters and providing a level playing field for political actors. That's the view of Deputy Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Niger Delta, Honorable Henry Nwanwuba. Honorable Nwanwuba, a legislator from Imo State, told Channels Television's Ladi Akeduluale on our current affairs program Newsnight that while security for the election is vital, the agencies must not be used to favor one candidate over the other. He also described Imo State as the epicenter of the security challenges in the southeast.
Insecurity, insurgency, kidnapping, banditry, whatever form that you see it in a very short time. We need to tackle it comprehensively, and the Southeast is not left behind. In Imo, we've gone from being the most secure state in the Southeast to being the least secure state in the Southeast. I mean, I think the flashpoint now, the epicenter of insecurity in the Southeast, if you ask me, is in my home state of Imo. And I keep asking, how did we get here? And of course, we can sit and talk about the different ways that insecurity can enter a society, but securing lives and properties is indeed the cardinal point of objective of any government, and at the moment we're failing woefully across the country. On the Anambra State elections, I think it's going to have an impact, certainly. I think voter turnout would be diminished. That's my personal opinion. That's what I think from my own analysis. But I do think that we must hold these elections. Elections are the only credible way to guarantee that the people are able to decide who takes them forward or who leads them. And I think it's the form of liberties that are ensured in constitutions. And so I would want to see the elections go forward. And if we have to deploy security agencies and be able to contain them from interfering in the electoral process and not being manipulated to play or act in favor of any particular candidate, but to ensure that people are able to come out and exercise their franchise freely, then yes, so be it. Let's go ahead.
You can watch the full interview with Honorable Mawuba. It's on Newsnight tomorrow, Monday, November 1st, 2021, at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. Speaking of which, Channels Television, your home for the news, has added yet another feather to its cap. The station has been named winner of the Nigeria Media Merit Award for the year 2020. This latest award makes it the 14th time Channels TV has won the prestigious honor. Extending its record in the category, the award-winning station claimed the prize this morning at an event held in Lokoja, the Kogi state capital. Prior to the award, Channels Television last won the Best NMMA for Television Station of the Year for 2018. This is in addition to claiming the prize in the years 2000 to 2004, then in 2008 and 2010 to 2011, 2013 through to 2018.
These three represent the three
seasoned media professionals, organizations, and special guests converge on Lokoja, the Kogi state capital, for an evening to celebrate, recognize, and reward excellence in Nigeria's media practice at the 2020 edition of the annual Nigeria Media Merit Award ceremony. In the build-up to this year's edition, a total of 1,050 entries were received from 731 journalists nationwide, one of the highest ever received since the inauguration of the award in the early 90s.
The NMMA is a trust which we have established in firm consultation with various sections of the media, and which we hope to make an annual event to the glory of our great country and promotion of media excellence in Nigeria.
Before announcing the categories and their winners, some eminent Nigerians received various awards for their contribution to the media landscape in the country.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
The Kogi State Governor, Yahya Bello, applauds the organizers for their diligence and charges the media to join in the fight against fake news.
The Media Award provoked the pursuit of excellence by media practitioners and in that way engender voluntary compliance to the professional ethics. Sanitizing the media industry and keeping it professional is a job the media practitioners must do for themselves. Government cannot help you much in this fight, lest be caught on the web of censorship.
It's now time for the nominees who have waited all night to know their fate, as winners are announced in the different categories.
NBC Prize for Television Station of the Year.
The high point of the event is the NBC Prize for the Television Station of the Year.
The winner is Channels Television Station.
And for a record 14th time in the history of the NMMA, Channels Television is celebrated and recognized for media excellence and professionalism.
We are happy to win this for the 14th time. This is remarkable. We are not taking it for granted, no doubt. We know it's the making of God Almighty. And we dedicate this award to the great staff and management of Channels TV, whose hard work you see here today.
Earlier at a media roundtable held at the banquet hall of the Kogi State Government House, veterans in the industry, academics and the state governor brainstormed on the state of the nation. The state governor used the occasion to express his feelings about the state of the federal roads in his state.
The road leading to Kogi State is terrible. That is what you just simply said. That isn't this enough to turn back investors? This is more than enough to turn back investors. But let me tell you, investors will continue to fall on themselves because they know Kogi is safe for their investments.
Established in 1990 as a not-for-profit organization to recognize and reward excellence in media practice, the Nigerian Media Merit Award is reputed as the most respected award platform for the Nigerian media industry.
It does feel good, doesn't it? For this award, of course, inspires us to work harder, to give you more professional journalism and broadcasting. Congratulations again to my colleagues and myself. And when the News at 10 returns, what provisions are in the draft budget for 2022 to cater for the health sector? Our data consultant, Babajide Ogunsonwo, joins us to dissect it. Join us again. Welcome back. Efforts by operatives of the Nigerian National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, to intercept different quantities of London-bound illicit substances from drug cartels has yielded results. Some of the drugs which were intercepted at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos include cocaine, heroin, and cannabis. Narcotic officers of the agency had, during routine clearance of cargo at Nako Export Airport, intercepted 20 parcels of cocaine weighing 1.2 kilograms concealed in packets of Z black soap, amongst others. Meanwhile, barely a week after she was arrested and granted bail for attempting to smuggle drugs concealed in cassava flour meal called Akpum into NDLEA's cell for a suspect in custody, a nursing mother who claims to be a student, Miriam Dirisu, has again been arrested for trafficking 5 kilograms of skunk and 8.1 kilograms of molly. A 35-year-old mother of a 2-month-old baby was first arrested on October 21st by the Edo State Command of the agency. While commending the officers and men of the agency in the various states, chairman of the NDLEA, General Buba Mawa, charged the officers in Lagos and other commands not to rest on their oars. A federal high court sitting in Lagos has ordered the temporary forfeiture of 2 houses in Abuja and 2 cars traced to convicted cyber criminal Obiwanne George Okeke, also known as Invictus Obi. In 2016, Obi was celebrated by Forbes as one of Africa's most outstanding 30 entrepreneurs under the age of 30. He's currently serving a 10-year prison sentence in America for his involvement in a computer-based intrusion fraud scheme amounting to $11 million. Justice Peter Lefu made the order on October 29, 2021, following an ex parte motion filed and argued by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Counsel, Chinenye Okezie. According to the EFCC, the properties will be used to restitute foreign victims of Invictus Obi's fraud through the United States of America Consulate. The houses to be forfeited are House 4, Oakville Estate, Kado Kuchi, Abuja, and another 5-bedroom duplex at Standard Estate, Kabusa, in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Tonight, we continue our review of the most critical aspects of the 2022 budget presented by President Buhari to members of the National Assembly. Our focus tonight is on the health budget. Babajide Ogunsonwo, Data and Information Consultant, is here to share insights. Babajide, great to have you here as always.
Good evening, Amarachi.
Good evening. How healthy are you, and how healthy is our budget?
Now, that's a different way to ask about the budget, but I would like to start from a slightly different perspective, and that's because exactly on this day, it's now 7 years past 3 decades, that the first and only female Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, was killed on this day in 1984. Tonight, regarding the health budget, I would like to talk about what is killing Nigerians. And Amachi, while I was preparing for this, I said to myself that I'll talk about COVID-19 because it has killed, based on the reports we see, 2,895 Nigerians. And I was preparing for that. I said, wait a minute, let me talk about something else. Cancer. Cancer estimated to have killed 50,000 Nigerians this year. But I changed my mind and said I was going to talk about something else, diarrhea. And that's because the estimates we have tonight shows that diarrhea this year estimated to have killed 70,000 Nigerians. But again, I changed my mind and said I was going to talk about something else, malaria. The estimates from the World Health Organization reveals that malaria this year will kill 90,000 Nigerians. Amrachi, before we look at the health budget, I would like to explain to you the implications and the significance of malaria. The Global Terrorism Database, which is the most reliable database on terrorism, tells us that between 2002 to 2019, 27,000 Nigerians have been killed due to terrorism. You could hold that in one hand, 27,000 Nigerians. The World Health Organization says within that same period, between 2002 to 2019, 2.7 million Nigerians have been killed due to malaria. In other words, Amarachi, for every one person that has been killed due to terrorism, 100 have been killed by mosquitoes. You heard me right. For every one person that has been killed due to terrorism, 100 has been killed by malaria. So mosquitoes are the most deadly terrorist organization we have today in Nigeria.
Well, thankfully, there is a vaccine which should be going around shortly to help deal with malaria. But let's talk about the mortality rate now for under fives. What do the facts say about, how significant their lives could change?
And we could take a look at the most recent report from the World Health Organization, which shows that based on their reports, Nigeria stands as the #1 country that has the highest mortality rate. Out of every 8 children that are born, 1 will not reach the age of 5. And that is what we have in front of us. This is the most recent report from the World Health Organization showing that 117 children per 1,000 children that are born will not reach the age of 5. And that is the challenge. The challenge is we need to be able to apply our budget, especially at the primary health care centers, to be able to have impact on lives of common citizens, because that position isn't where Nigerians want to really become, whereby the World Health Organization says that we are the #1 country with the worst mortality rate when it comes to under 5 mortality.
So, Babajide, what is the budget for health for 2022, and will it help improve life expectancy, do you think?
And the summary is there's good news and there's bad news. And if we take a look at the budget, here's what you find regarding the good news. The good news is we currently have the largest health budget in history. A budget of 711 billion naira is what the president presented. Looking at what has been presented previously, we see that that budget was just 257 billion naira in 2016. It grew to 366 billion naira in 2019. And we have a proposal at the National Assembly of 711 billion naira. Looking at all the previous budgets the president has presented, this is the largest health budget. That is good news. The bad news is looking at the health budget relative to the total budget, what we see is the health budget is not growing. And here's what I mean. Yes, in 2015, it was in 2016, for instance, it was a 257 billion naira budget. But based on the 6 trillion naira total appropriation, that was 4%. And here's what is interesting. Since 2016, even up to this budget, the health budget has remained only 4% of the total budget that has been laid to the National Assembly. And in the final analysis, since we started with understanding that mosquitoes are the most violent terrorist organization in Nigeria, the only way we can fight that is for us to put more resources to the health budget. And those resources have to get down to the primary healthcare centers. The hope is the National Assembly will review this budget upwards, whereby we'll be seeing higher allocation to health. We'll be looking at potentially 5 to 6% allocation into health, because health, education, and security are all related, Amarachi.
Babajide, thanks again. You're giving us a lot, as usual, to think about tonight.
And don't forget, whenever they ask you what is the most violent terrorist organization, you now know the answer.
Well, it's mosquitoes, right? Thanks again. Well, stout lovers who wish to attend Nigeria's first international stout festival have been advised to register on www.mostincredibleoutofniger.com. The event is scheduled to hold on Saturday, November 13th in Lagos and 19th in Port Harcourt.
We launched Trophy Extra Special Stouts last year in spite of a pandemic. And, you know, that was something I always tell the team, that was something really courageous. So far, the brand has received amazing acceptance. Going from last year into this year, the brand is doing very well. The brand is being loved. And everybody that has tried this brand has told us firsthand that they really love it. And we can see that in our numbers.
For 2 weekends.
It's in appreciation of numerous stout lovers that International Breweries decides to bring home the International Stout Day.
One thing you should remember, I really want to stress this, is the most incredible out of Nigeria.
At this event in Lagos, one of the 2 cities where the event will showcase, the company is launching a campaign to highlight some of the conditions for participation. And every stout lover in Nigeria is encouraged to join the celebration by registering on www.mostincredibleoutofniger.com.
For the first time on Niger Store, we're the first brand to do this. In spite of being homegrown local brand, we are doing something international because we really believe we are giving the best of Nigeria to the world with our products, with our people, with the events, with everything we've put together. And we really, really encourage you to please spread the word. We want everybody to be proud of Nigeria like we are.
The music is one, but there are many
Beyond drinks, dance and good music to be provided by some of the best artists both home and abroad, organizers promise a lot more, which they prefer to keep under wraps.
The International Stout Festival, themed The Most Incredible Out of Niger, is curated in a way where our consumers and participants would expect a day of fun, a day of entertainment, and a day to experience stouts like they've never experienced before.
Stout lovers who don't make the list for the festival are encouraged to join via the social media handle of the company, which boasts of the resilient and excellent spirit of Nigeria. International Breweries, maker of Trophy Lager, Trophy Stout, Hero Lager, Budweiser, Grand Malt and Better Malt, is a proud part of the global company AB InBev.
The past 7 years are on track to be the 7th warmest on record, according to the Provisional World Meteorological Organization State of Global Climate 2021 report based on data for the first 9 months of 2021. The Provisional State of the Climate 2021 report is released at the start of the highly anticipated climate change negotiations in Glasgow.
Objection, it is so desired.
With squabbles among major polluting nations, the last conference of the parties to negotiate climate agenda in Madrid in 2019 made COP25 the longest COP in history. Unfortunately, the outcome was also tagged disappointing as it failed to increase ambition on mitigation, adaptation and finance to tackle the climate crisis. Between then and now, Europe has witnessed some of the worst damage from floods. Part of Europe and North America had more than half of the worst wildfires in history. More people in Asia and Africa have been pushed into poverty and have been killed as a result of the climate crisis, while the COVID-19 pandemic make all these even more difficult for many around the world. All these are not lost on the delegates here in Glasgow.
The past 2 years has been difficult. Some of us lost family, friends, and colleagues. Please join me for a minute of silence in remembrance of the many lives lost around the world during the coronavirus pandemic.
Before handing over the COP presidency to the United Kingdom, the outgoing president from Chile urges G20 leaders also meeting in Rome to fulfill their commitment at Paris. The UK presidency has set 4 main goals for the success of COP26. It hopes to deliver a secured global net zero by mid-century and keep 1.5 degrees within reach by asking countries to come forward with ambitious 2030 emissions reduction targets. It encourages countries to adapt to protect communities and natural habitats. And to deliver on the first 2 goals, the UK presidency will need to convince developed countries to make good on their promise to mobilize at least $100 billion in climate finance per year, while urging international financial institutions to play their part towards unleashing the trillions in private and public sector finance required to secure global net zero, and must finalize a detailed rules that make the Paris Agreement operational.
It's an honor to speak to you today for the first time as COP President.
While welcoming delegates to the United Kingdom, Alok Sharma, who presides over COP26, says the IPCC's report in August is a wake-up call.
The rapidly changing climate is sounding an alarm to the world to step up on adaptation, to address loss and damage, and to act now to keep 1.5 alive.
The COP process is based on trust and common but shared responsibilities. It depends on goodwill of parties to commit to ending the crisis. The President of the UN General Assembly believes the world has capacities to deal with it.
My dear friends, we have run out of excuses. It is time to do the right thing.
It is said to be the most important forum to push for and agree more ambitious action, as a double whammy of COVID-19 and climate crisis are pushing more people into poverty and early death. Already, there are signs of trouble heading into COP26. Observers say the hoped-for outcome will fall short, but they also warn the world will lose more if the issues are not resolved. Ayola Kasim, Channels Television News.
Protesters in Sudan have barricaded roads in the capital Hartoum as part of a week-long demonstration against last Monday's military coup, as security forces disrupted protests on Saturday, firing shots and tear gas, leaving at least 3 people dead in the city of Omdurman. The army has denied it fired live rounds. Meanwhile, the African Union's Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, says contrary to opinion, the AU is powerless in the face of emerging coups in Africa. The body is working behind the scenes to secure a new Africa.
The African Union stands ready to continue to work with international partners, with the regional economic communities in the case of Sudan, IGAD, to make sure that civilian-led transition is restored without further delay. But we must continue to push and pressurize the military leaders, the new authorities in Khartoum, to see the most important way of finding a lasting solution to the recurrence of military takeover in the Sudan or in any of our member states. But you must be assured that African Union member states, totally without exception, continue to push and condemn very strongly any unconstitutional changes of government. The era of military dictatorship is over on the African continent, and it is a new Africa that we want. The Africa that we want, based on Agenda 2063, must be activated by all democracy-loving, peace-loving member states of the Union.
You can watch more on the interview with Ambassador Adeoye on Diplomatic Channel. It airs tomorrow, November 1st at 8:30 p.m. on UK Sky 518 and on DSTV at 11:30 p.m. right here on Channels Television. Tigers Golf Club at the Adekunle Faji Cantonment in Ojo, Ibadan has played host to the inaugural Abula Golf Tournament. A tournament which showcases the health benefits of the Yoruba traditional cuisine known as Abula, primarily made from ewedu and beans, is expected to spread across the southwest zone to encourage healthy eating.
The Abula Golf Tournament debuts with a twist away from your usual golf event. These golfers from different states in the southwest and beyond are playing for a different cause, with a fusion of culture, food and sports at the Tiger Golf Course at the Kunle Cantonment in Ibadan.
The essence of Abula is to promote healthy living, healthy eating, and I play golf, so I'm using golf as a platform to promote healthy living.
Abula, as you know, is a delicacy, a healthy delicacy. And when you match it with golf, golf is healthy. It's a game you play to be healthy. So fusing the two together, it goes a long way when it comes to healthy living.
The good news is that the Abula tournament is not going to be a one-off event, as organizers say other states in the southwest region will also have a feel of it in successive editions.
Abula more or less is like a tourism thing, and we thought, how do we kickstart this initiative? Because most of our friends are golfers. So if we use Abula, so to speak, which is food tourism, to launch it, we use golf to launch it, definitely we're going to have a lot of our friends participate. And it's just starting here today. Remember, we have a lot of very lovely golf courses.
It was not just all about the golf. The organizers also explored the serene atmosphere to unveil a new magazine, the Abula Golf International Invitational Magazine, which is expected to curate the experience for posterity. Ola Uriowo, Channels Television News.
To the English Premier League, West Ham underlined their top four credentials with a 4-1 win against a 10-man Aston Villa earlier today. Ben Johnson scored early for the visitors, only to see Ollie Watkins equalise. But the Hammers reclaimed the lead before half-time through Declan Rice. Late goals from Pablo Fornals and Jarrod Bowen sealed the 3 points for David Moyes' side and condemned Villa to a fourth straight Premier League defeat. Earlier Leeds recorded just their second victory of the season, beating Norwich 2-1 to climb out of the relegation zone. And the main news again. The River State Governor Nyesom Wike today gave a 48-hour ultimatum to authorities to find those who invaded the home of Supreme Court Justice Mary Odili. That'll be all on the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Good night.